Onward and Upward. We have with us tonight Monroe Rodriguez. And Monroe, thank you for wanting to be on Diviner Spotlight tonight.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Monroe.
Let's see. I'm a Reiki master. I'm a healer, diviner. I've been doing tarot card readings for basically since I was a teenager. I've just started doing it professionally over the last couple of years, both in New Orleans and Miami. I'm in Seattle right now, so I'm kind of branching off.
And do you have a website or a page where people can get in touch with you?
Yes. Most people are on my personal Facebook. It's facebook.com at monroe.rodriguez. I also have a Reiki Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ReikiDoc, ReikiDoc. And basically you can get a hold of me from there.
Okay. And you sent me when I asked you to send me something for the marquee that would symbolize you.
Mm-hmm.
You sent me a very interesting graphic, really cool graphic. and it's how did you come about that graphic, and tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. The graphic has multiple meanings. Mainly, I have those Eye of Ra, Eye of Horus, both tattoos I have on my arm. Also, my eyes do weird things sometimes when I'm doing Reiki, like one changes color. I've had people tell me that, so that's why I kind of have them different color eyes. Devil's Do Cry is based on, I'm a child of Elegua, a child of Eshu. A lot of the spirits I work with, they're seen by some people as negative or devils, but they also have a more softer side, so Devil's Do Cry is kind of the juxtaposition between, actually me in a lot of ways, because I have kind of a tough veneer, but I also have a more kinder, healing side to me.
So it represents both sides of your personality.
Correct.
And also on the line we have with us Third Wolf. You didn't run off on me, did you?
No, I'm here. I just had to reboot my computer.
Well, tell us a little bit about Third Wolf.
I'm in Lukumi. I've been in the religion for about 20 years, but I've only been crowned for about 5 years. I only recently started redoing my tarot card readings because some ladies from Maryland kind of like threw me one night out there, and I find them real quick and start reading one night. I won't say who she is, but, she is on the air tonight. So because of that, it's been very beneficial. I've been actually doing a lot more lately, and a very good friend of mine gave me a new deck of cards, and I've used them, and I really like them. So, but, I need definitely to learn a lot more, as always. We all do.
Well, we never stop learning. Okay, well, and we do have our first caller on the line, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them in. Area code 512.
Hello, I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. Now, did you call in for just a general reading tonight, Dave, or did you have a specific question?
Well, I think a general reading would probably hit me between the eyes, so let's go for that.
Okay, well, let's start with Monroe. And Monroe, is there anything you need from Dave in particular before we start?
Birthday?
12/3/53. And there's a train coming by, so excuse me.
Okay. wow, that's really good. So Dave, are you a little bit of a control freak?
I'm doing pretty good at that. Not so much.
That's a yes.
I've had a lot of lessons of letting go,
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I got it perfected.
Basically what I'm seeing is that you're going through a little period where you don't know if you want to, how do I put, let loose a little bit more or be grounded, because I'm doing a 15-card spread, and a lot of them are saying kind of opposing things where I need to be more go off by yourself, and then on the other side there's a need to kind of let loose and party a little more, have a little bit more fun in life.
Well, I'm right on top of that one. That's happening right now in my life, yeah.
So I don't know if there's a significant other, like a wife, but that keeps popping up. I need to follow your intuition. In the future, I see more money coming in, like money in a way of seems like enough money to be a charitable person.
Well, see, that would have been my question, because I'm waiting on an investment to pop that could pop any minute. So you're right on top of that.
Yeah, and also you have a lot in the deck. There's a lot of sixes. They're all about looking at yourself from a financial point of view, emotional point of view, a creative point of view. So a lot of what I'm seeing in the future is really happy things going on, money, but I need to take stock of what, how you're feeling, how you're expressing yourself, what you've been through, as well as kind of more of an internal trip, as you will, even if it's kind of like a weekend trip just to get away from everyone.
I hear you. I've been working pretty hard for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I can see that, because you basically got to a point where you kind of had enough of a lot of the bull, so you're trying to look for something else, look for something new, and there's a lot of opportunity for that in the near future, in the next 2 weeks to a month.
Okay.
To see a lot of money.
A lot of money. That's what I'm anticipating, and it's there.
But
I'm prepared for it.
But be careful with spending it, and don't go a little crazy on the party aspect.
Yeah. I know that's available to me, but I'm, I've been out here on this. Well, I've been a musician since I was a kid, so I've done all that for many years, and then the last 10 years I haven't. I just quit everything. So I'm feeling a little lost. What you're reading is totally accurate. I'm in a park today, and they have a meeting of a bunch of Wiccans over there. And instead of going to the meeting, I'm sitting here next to my car. So I'm right where you're talking about, man. It's perfect.
Wow. Anything else?
No, you're excellent. I appreciate your time. Anything else you can throw at me, I'd appreciate it. But that's where I'm at.
Follow your intuition and make sure you plan a lot in the next month.
Make sure I what?
Plan, set clear goals, and go for it.
Okay.
Stop all your resources.
Okay.
I was going to Third Wolf, just step in there now that Monroe's kind of finished up there.
I only did a 3-card spread, and it said something about that you need to, you've been successful, and it says get outdoors, spend more time outdoors. And it's kind of funny that you're saying you're in a car where there's a group of people outside, but that you need to get out more. But for your present, if you say you're waiting on this investment, there is something here that says somebody's trying to cheat you, and they're using illegal means to take something from you. Not everybody's being upfront with you about something, so you may want to be careful of that. And for your future, it says, your personal battle will end, but you're going to have, the war is going to continue, the battle. But you will stockpile. You need to get stronger, either financially or spiritually or something. That something's coming down the road. But that's the only thing that I'm getting right here. When you were saying something about you're waiting on an investment or something to pan out, just something is not everything in the contract is true. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha. Well, thanks, fellas. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Well, thank you, Dave, and thank you for being our first caller tonight.
My pleasure.
And I hope everything works out for you.
Well, it always does, doesn't it?
Well, it not always the way we want it to, but sometimes the way it's but always the way it's supposed to.
Well, I'm right on track for whatever it is.
Well, good, and good luck to you, Dave.
Thank you, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, our next caller is area code 661.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Just fine. Who are we speaking with this evening?
Hi, Mama. This is Dia.
Oh. Oh, funny lady. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm not calling to get a reading. I just wanted to wish my sister, my soul sister, my twin, a happy supermoon. And this is a great, great show. And I finally have a day off to where I can listen to your show. So I'm excited to hear what goes down. And I miss you. I just wanted to tell you I love you and have a great show. And this is a wonderful show. I'm enjoying listening to your guest readers and so on and so much. But I send you love, sis. I'm putting myself on mute, girl.
Okay, love you too. Yeah, we missed you Friday, and they ought to give you a day off for dragging you in on Friday.
Thank you. Okay, girl.
And we'll talk soon. Okay. Well, that was a nice surprise because, we had to cancel Friday's show just because she got called into work. So it's good that she got a day off. Okay, and our call-in number tonight is 917-889-7526. Make sure you press the number 1 if you wish to participate so we know you want to talk to us and didn't just call in to listen to the show. And we're having a bit of a steamy day here today, so it's... Yes, I'm glad we're up as high as we are. I wouldn't want to be down east of us because I'm sure if it's steamy here, I know what it is down there. But since we don't have anybody with their hands up right now, I'm going to throw myself under the bus and since it's been a while. And I like to have I like to get a reading about every 3-4 months just to keep things in tune. So, gentlemen, start your engines.
Birthday? Third Wolf, you get this.
Okay.
Oh no, Monroe, you're going to get yours too. And my birth date is 7/14/57. And yes, I got a birthday coming up, and I do accept cash.
I don't read like that.
Isn't the reader supposed to get the... Never mind.
I said for my birthday.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Go win the Powerball.
I did a 3-card spread, and I'll let you know which cards they are because, so that way you can reference them. The first card was
Don't tell me what the cards are. Just read them.
Okay. Everyone has a different interpretation.
That's right. So we're doing your interpretation. We're not doing my interpretation. We're doing yours.
Okay. Oh, you're at... Okay. your worry, your stress. You got a little, you're worried about some health problems you're having, and either some weight gain or some weight loss. This has been, and you're worried that it's going to affect your finances for the near future. But you have a lot of support from your friends and family, and you're supposed to seek some religious and spiritual help. Hey, kind of ironic, isn't it? Okay. Now, right now for your present, you have a little distrust for others, and you're refusing to listen to others' advice. Your short-sightedness might be your undoing. Dwelling on the past is holding you back from progress. Rushing to decision creates most of your problems. If you keep doing what you have always done, the results will be the same. Rely on others and trust their judgment, because you're not trusting everybody right now. But for your future, you got a nice, beautiful card. It signifies a nurturing, down-to-earth woman, which you are, who shows concern for others. You're loyal to your friends and family, and you're very dependable and selfless, and you help others in need. You're very organized, noble, generous, and sympathetic to those social and political issues.
Okay.
So it's kind of ironic.
Well, yeah, I see where there is a lot of that, especially the health thing, and you hit the nail on the head several times.
I did it. The card did.
Okay, Monroe.
I may sound kind of repeating from what my audition was, but my favorite cards are the Fool and the Magician, and those are two kind of qualities you have to embody. You have to track what you want and look at things through different eyes, new eyes. I keep saying this over and over to you.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, I used
ahead.
2 different decks, and I got the same card. I got the same card out of 2 different decks about the worry.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that worry will be going away soon. But that's a Cancer thing. That's why whenever the astrologers say Jupiter's moving into Cancer, so that things will lighten up financially, I'm doing the Snoopy dance through the room, going, "Yeah, it's about time." But and the thing that you had told me in your edition about, I had stopped. Well, no, I had stopped looking at new things, which I had because I had so many other things that I was worried about. I had stopped satisfying my curiosity. I kind of tamped down on my curiosity for, doing it, reading my articles and things like that grab my attention, and I find I'm getting a little bit, to do that helps to lift my spirits and invigorate me. So I'm, getting back into that. So that was an excellent piece of advice.
Ms. Paula, what was the last thing you said to me when I introduced myself? We never stop learning.
Right.
So if you keep on doing that, that's going to help you.
And that's true. And sometimes I get bogged down in every day, and I forget. We all forget to take our own advice. So, Candelo, you can call in and tell us about that. That's really cool. But yeah, it does, and it goes to show that, from a personal standpoint, that when I get a reading done, it makes me stop and take account of what's going on and what I'm doing, and how I can change that. So that's why I always like to get a reading every couple of 3-4 months. I don't like to overdo it. I'm not one of these people that has to have a reading to see if I should go to Walmart or anything like that. But
that's when you do OB, right?
Yeah, that's when you do OB. Is this a day I should go to Walmart?
But as George Nichols says, certain times of the day, don't do shopping till X amount of time. I do for moon alerts.
But yeah, and that's some people, of course, there's always the naysayers out there that say, oh yeah, that's all so much hooey. But like I said, I like to, and I even go on Blog Talk to the different shows, to some of the different shows that where I've sat and listened to some of the readers, and if they seem like they know their craft, then I'll call in and get a reading from them if I don't have anybody around that, that's. But since we've started doing Diviner Spotlight, I don't have to do that. I can I got them right here at my fingertips.
Yeah, but Ms. Paul, this is only a slight reading. For us, if you want a full reading, I think Monroe or myself would be willing to do one. And I wouldn't mind doing it, but I won't do it on the air. I won't do it.
No, these are not. There's certain things on that you don't need to broadcast on a radio show, but for just to get a general feel for things that you should be scotching up on in life, and these are good. And our call-in number here is 917-889-7526. Be sure to press the number 1 so that we know that you're wanting a reading, and not just sitting on the switchboard to listen in to the readings. And we're about 10 minutes from the top of the hour, so we're going to go ahead and take a little break, and we will be back after that. And our, like I said, 917-889-7526. And you're listening to Egun and Then Some on KDCL Media, pride of Internet Radio for Deep Creek Lake, Garrett County, Maryland, and the world. And we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Aure baba, aure baba. Aure baba. Aure baba. Hey, aure baba. Aure baba. Hey, aure baba. Aure baba. Hey, aure baba. Orisha baba, orisha bemiu. Orisha baba oluwami, orisha bemiu. Orisha baba oluwami, orisha bemiu. Orisha baba jaguna, orisha bemiu. Orisha baba oluwami, orisha bemiu. Orisha baba oshogia, orisha bemiu. Orisha baba oluwami, orisha bemiu. Oliwo, oliro jide, elejubeu. Elejubeu. Baba elejubeu. 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 Baba elejubeu. 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 Moyo, moipa. 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 Moijesha. Moipa. Moipa. Moijesha. bàbá ìṣòro èrò mi bàbá kọjá dé. Èrò mi kọjá dé. Èrò mi kọjá dé. Bàbá kọjá dé. Èrò mi kọjá dé. Bàbá kọjá dé. Èrò mi kọjá dé. Alala bàbá la ò ṣe. Bàbá la ò ṣe. Ọ̀fẹ́ la ò ṣe. Bàbá la ò ṣe. Bàbá la ò ṣe. Bàbá la ò ṣe. Bàbá la ò ṣe. Ọ̀fẹ́ la ò ṣe. Bàbá la ò ṣe.
Oh, and we're back, and with Monroe Rodriguez and Third Wolf doing our readings for us tonight. Both of you read tarot, but you're also involved in ATRs and Reiki and some other modalities. How do you bring that all together? All those, because they seem, kind of diametrically opposed in some ways. And
for me, I've been doing tarot for so long. I use a lot of different types of divination systems. Sometimes I just read people without anything, but I like tarot basically for the symbology and the artwork. I don't bring in Orisha or other spirits into my tarot card readings, meaning I don't have one card and say, oh, Yamaya's talking to you and blah, 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 blah. I don't do that. I stick to what I'm feeling, what I'm getting intuitively, what the card means, things like that.
Okay, and which came first, the Reiki and obviously the tarot, but the Reiki or the ATRs?
ATRs, then Reiki.
Did one kind of lead to another, or?
I've been doing energy work mainly for my hands since I was for a very long time, and I kind of was interested about Reiki, and I eventually got my attunement, and I realized that it was a huge difference between the energy level that I had when I did a treatment versus when I did Reiki. When I do Reiki, it's kind of like the energy's coming through you, and you're healing the person. Whereas when I was younger, it was more of it coming out of me directly, so I would get tired. So I think Reiki kind of evened me out in terms of my healing ability.
Okay. And now I know, like with Lukumi, when you're first initiated, you're not supposed to touch people for that year that you're in white. Did you have any problems with that, or did you just step back from that for that year? Or?
I took a step back from all of it, actually. I don't have Eshu made on my head. I have my warriors. I have a lot of other things. I have stuff in Ifa, Scratch and Palo. I have a mixed background, so I have a lot of different ancestral spirits going on. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of been trying to incorporate that and kind of make everyone happy spiritually. So that was kind of my quest for the past couple of years, just to kind of get all my ducks in a row.
Yeah, because a lot of times, and this is my personal experiences, as like with your Reiki and things like that, that opens up other things. When I got my warriors, when I got my Kofa, each initiation, each thing I received opened up different things and access to different parts of my spiritual background, my different Egun.
Mm-hmm. There's different types of Reiki. I've done the Usui kind and the tradition, as well as an Egyptian kind of Reiki called Sekkum, and that kind of opens you up to more of the Neteru type of spirits, Egyptian deities, if you will. I think that with my experience, it like I said, it kind of evened me out, and I could do tarot and a lot of the other meaning work before I got into any ATRs. And after I got into ATRs, I kind of had to take a step back and reevaluate what has happened since the various initiations that I went through, and who was I
before, and who am I now? And did those strengthen your mediumship abilities, or did it just change them?
I think it just kind of tweaked it a little bit. For example, Paulo kind of made me pick up dealing with the dead a lot more, like more denser spirits than I was used to. So that was definitely a change. But I kind of have the same type. It's like I have the same type of abilities I had since I was a kid, but it was tweaked a little bit. You get more sensitive to the different types of energies that are out there.
Mhm. Yeah, I noticed that myself.
When you're a kid, you don't really have a rule book or a manual of what's going on. You just kind of put everything in the same group. But when you get initiated into different systems, then you start to recognize the energy differently. This feels like an Inkisi. This feels like an Orisha. This feels like a Muerto. This feels like something else, or this is just just a dead spirit of someone. So I can tell the different energies better than just going into somewhere and saying, "Oh, there's a spirit here."
And what about you, Third Wolf?
I started tarot card readings when I was in junior high school. Actually, it's because I was a fan. I grew up. I watched. I remember as a little kid with my father, we went to see Live and Let Die. So I got it. I really liked that the whole thing with those voodoo cards, and he actually bought them for me. And then when I went to my freshman year, we had a class called public speaking, and talk about one of your hobbies. So that's what I did, and that's how I started doing it. I mean, I was doing it in high school and everything. But later on, in the 90s, I kind of was a little bit, looking different spirituality, different things. I've done Buddhism. I studied Shinto, the martial arts. So, there was always something that was looking for a balance. And I actually did learn a little bit of Reiki with a group of friends up in Pennsylvania. And then all of a sudden I got involved with the ATRs, met somebody, and from there was just history. I mean, like, it just started filling in, and everything I started to understand. And like he said about the different energies, it's like, oh, okay. And I incorporate different things in what I do. I've been to sweat lodges out in Montana, so I take what, if you take what different religions, like, to me, I always look at it as a doctor learning different medicines from the east or the west, using herbs or using modern penicillin, just to help somebody. But and I've been lucky enough that I've met some people that have taught me some wonderful things, and I try and write everything that I learn. I try and write down, and I got a book that has a lot of thoughts and things that happen, from all the way from spiritual animals to where I do some, I interpret dreams sometimes. I've done that in the past. I have friends who have called me about that. My library is huge, but I'm trying to get that electronically, but I still want the feeling of the book when I'm looking for something. And I wasn't a big fan of writing in the edge of the books, but I write a lot on the edges of the books now because sometimes I can't remember everything. I can't cross-reference everything. But,
well, I like to write in the margin so that that's my cliff notes. So when I am looking for something, I can find it faster.
You do, and it's like, it's weird because you're taught not to, but then when you go to college, it's like, you did that so many times, you highlight here, you whatever, but you always do that,
What's my book?
Well, no, because it's like I want to sell it back, so I need to get some money back. At $150 a book, I was like, I'm gonna try to sell it, get $75 back. It's a little different when you buy a book for $20 than $150, right?
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
But some of my books are. What's his name? Andrews. Animal Speaks has been a very important book in my life. Another thing is, like he said, I used to just read people just by looking at them, their mannerisms. I love taking psychology courses, any of the courses where people are like you're looking for the tells, the lies, and everything, and how the hand movements. If there's a seminar or something like that, if I know, and I try and make it there because you just can tell different things, and my favorite is like I like to. My wife thinks it's crazy, but I like to have different things in the car when I go out, and then I just change my hat or do something differently, and or readjust the shirt a certain way, and it changes the way people see you. If you kind of like it sounds stupid, but kind of like I don't want to say espionage, but just because I love when I go to carnivals or fairs and they try and guess your age or your weight or this and that. I love to trick them up a little bit. I'll admit it. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I look back on it sometimes like it was wrong, but it's like how good are you? And that's But I mean, if I put the hat, I wear my hat a certain way, it gives me more height. But if I don't have the hat on, I'm not as tall. Change your shirt the way you hold it. Button, is it in your pants or outside of are you sloppy? And I always like that. And my favorite thing is when I watch people's mannerisms, the way they eat or things. You can almost tell, and you can't, what area of the world they're from, the way they hold certain utensils and how they cut or how they were taught. It's funny, but there's actually course on that.
Neuro-linguistic programming. That's become a very big field lately, is being able to, through touch or redirection, to program somebody's behavior. And we all have, due to the way we're raised or our environment or our belief system, we have different perceptions, like you said, of the way people dress. Whether your shirt's tucked in, if it's buttoned to the neck, if it's got 3 buttons open. It's all in our perception.
Right. The most common was is how Europeans and Spanish people say hello. We embrace and kiss on the cheek or something. Mm-hmm. And Americans, you're breaking that bubble. They don't like. Some do like that warmth of closeness, but some you got to stand back a little bit. And but Spanish people. I mean, I remember when the Queen Elizabeth went to Mexico, they told the president not to hug her. He grabbed her hand and hugged her, and and everybody goes, "No, you're not supposed to do that," because you're to just hold her hand, and bow, and kiss her hand or something like that. But no, he didn't follow protocol. It's kind of funny.
Well, the European kings and queens are, they're considered. From back in the day, they were supposedly, the divine presence on earth, blah, blah, blah. So that was why you didn't touch the divine person.
I have an interesting thought. When we talk about reading, some people read body language, the way a person is dressed. I don't really, I've read with different types of people, and I don't really see that as reading so much. Some people... when I look at palmistry and astrology, there are scientific aspects to it. Mm-hmm. They're documented. It can take a lifetime to learn. And even with the NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, that's kind of like a science too. You can learn it, you can study at a school, and you can be an expert at it. But I think with some people you do. Yeah, it's not 100%, but I mean, like, it's so, like, there's an intuitive aspect to that. For example, with tarot, you can study that and be an expert in it too, but each person is different. It won't mean the same way. I think with most divination systems, even though EFA, for example, there's lots of documentation on it, there's lots of oral history around it, but you have to use your intuition to figure out which the best meaning or verse that would kind of be for that client.
Correct.
Well,
and,
in any system, you can sit down and memorize definitions of cards or signs or whatever, but there's still an intuitive aspect to it.
I agree.
Yeah, because I'm studying the lagoons right now, and no matter what comes down with somebody, you have to sit there, understand your client is, and ask some questions. And some people call that code reading, but at the same time, you're also trying to understand where this person's coming, and if they're truthful to you, you can direct, what is going to happen and everything else. I mean, that's the most important thing is knowing how to direct somebody the way. Not everything's going to work the same way for everybody. I can tell you do this, A, B, C, and D, but I have to tell the other person to do B, C, D, and F.
Right.
Even though they may have almost the same readings, but everybody's different.
Well, and with a lot of the systems, you're like the De Lagoon, you're not just yes, you're doing a reading, but you have to ask those questions. You have to ask, what is influencing what's going on in this person's life? Is it the person themselves? Is it, something spiritual? Is it something mundane? And there's that's to me asking those type of questions. It depends on the reading. Yeah, if you're John Edwards and you're doing mediumship readings and you're doing more of a cold read than being an actual medium. Yeah, that's a con. Because you're reading the person, you're doing, well, I see a J, do you have a J? Oh, yeah, everybody, So, it's...
I'm laughing because when I was in New Orleans and I went out one night, I started doing some Long Island medium type activity where I just randomly start going up to people and telling them about their spirits and things.
You guys are not a fan of Miss Caputo?
Yeah.
I like her. Her show is a reality show, so there you go.
Yeah, exactly. But she's definitely a Long Island. She's definitely a New Yorker. Correct you.
I think I've actually seen like half of one of her shows. I don't watch a lot of TV. And I don't usually watch reality shows, but I did actually watch a little bit of one of hers. And she has a definite presence, and
The one my wife is watching right now is called the Dead Files with Amy Allen and this retired detective from Homicide in New York City. And they go to houses that are haunted, and they each arrive separately. And she does a walkthrough through the house and everything, and what's going there. And he does all the detective work, the research, the interviewing the people. And then they come, and then they at the end of the last 15 minutes, they sit down and what they've countered, and this is what you had. And my wife is really into the show. I mean, I like it so far. It's pretty good. If you get a chance, it's Dead Files. It's on the Travel Channel. If you like spirits and ghosts, I mean, I do.
I like them in the areas.
I'm sorry, what?
I like ghosts to stay in their areas, or if they need to leave, go.
Well, exactly, and that's what she helps them, the people there do. But I mean, there are, I still believe there's hauntings in certain areas, and some are not so nice ones.
Well, from the standpoint of somebody that works with spirits and is a medium, why do you think that is?
They had a hard life and they weren't able to pass on, and they didn't learn their lesson in this life. And that's one thing. That's one of my I view it.
I think that some people don't realize that they died, or that the death was so traumatic that they might not know they're dead. They might be trying to go through their normal routine, and they just keep doing it every day. Some people it's a very traumatic event, and no one knows that they're gone, and they're just trying to get closure.
And now doing the energy work, and do you ever encounter somebody that has something like that when you're doing like your Reiki or something, that's the reason they're having a problem, is because something has attached to them?
I've had a couple clients with attachments, not so much. I had one client where it was mainly there wasn't non-recognition of the spirits. He had a large amount of spirits, and he just kind of didn't want to even think of the idea that he had them. So they kept kind of talking to me during the session, and I had to kind of reiterate what they were trying to say over and over again until he finally kind of, opened up to the idea.
And now once they were acknowledged, did they leave, or?
I think that client was actually very intuitive himself, and a lot of the clients I'm getting recently, there are other psychics or other intuitive people, and they just don't kind of know, or that they used to recognize it and they don't anymore. And so when I do Reiki, it kind of wakes them up to the reality that this is something they have to kind of acknowledge for them to have more peace in their life, or to have more energy, or to have less stress on their body that's kind of influencing illnesses in their body.
I find that an interesting idea, that somebody who's a spiritualist doesn't realize that they have an attachment. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you would step away from that ability.
I'll be honest, it's happened to me. Well, I have a lot of spirits, and then sometimes I have one tag along, and I didn't know that it wasn't one of mine at a certain point, and I had to get rid of it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. That's, sometimes you don't realize there's one there until because they're not bothering you; they're just watching everything else. I've seen many people who have something following them, and they're not a bad spirit; they're just curious.
I really don't go around the cemeteries unless I have to, because generally if I go near a cemetery, one will tag along. Or even I say they use me as a magic school bus, because basically they tag along, go to somewhere or a reading or a special place, and then they leave. I don't feel them anymore, but it's kind of like, okay, I'm not your transportation vehicle. Could you leave me alone?
Field trip. Yeah, it's like, hey, you can see me and hear me. Hi.
Oh, well, I mean, a perfect example would be
Whoopi Goldberg and Ghost.
Yeah.
Well, that was no, but I was thinking of my niece's daughter. I remember driving by the cemetery, and it's like, and she said, "Why do those people have dirt all over their face?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" It's like I just see her, I knew she's gonna be like that. I'm like, "Oh boy!" And I'm like, and I talked to her mom about it, but it's like, her mom, I don't want her to know nothing about that. I was like, okay, she's gonna be totally confused. And, I mean, and I feel so bad because I have to respect her wishes. But yeah, her daughter, I drove by the second. Why do all those people have dirt on their faces? I'm like, oh boy.
So
she was only like 5 years old. 5 years old when she said that.
Well, kids are open. They don't have our prejudices against that. When after you get to a certain age and you've been told for so many years you don't see that, you don't hear that, and we start to believe that we don't see that and don't hear that. And
is this a song from Tommy?
Yeah.
I don't know, Monroe. Do you know what song I was talking about?
Can you repeat it?
No. What she said, you didn't hear that, you didn't see that. It's a song.
It's from the rock opera Tommy.
Both my parents have psychic abilities. Well, my mom's kind of in denial, but definitely my dad, definitely my mom's side of the family. And I just had this talk with her the other day where I told her not to pray for me because when she prays for people, things have a tendency to happen very quickly. And she doesn't think it's anything wrong with that. She's like, "Oh, I'm just praying to God." And I'm like, "Yeah, but could you not pray? Like sometimes she'll pray for me to come home, and like something will happen to my car or something else, and I'm just like, could you just keep your prayers to like positive things, positivity, keep it light." But my parents, they
tell him to come home for Christmas.
Yeah, but you know, when I grew up, I had experiences, and they were telling me that, don't worry about it, or they were kind of telling me that it was either I was a little crazy, or I just ignore it, and eventually it got to the point where I couldn't ignore it. I mean, it was happening at job, at school, everything.
Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up outside of Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. There's definitely a heavy presence there.
Yeah.
A lot of history there.
Well, did you make the conscious decision that you were not, you were going to acknowledge this and you were going to deal with it, and how did you learn to deal with it?
There were several points in my life where I put, unbeknownst to myself, I put mental blocks on a lot of my gifts, where I kind of shut it down, and then they kind of burst back open again. So most of my life I had a period where I couldn't see or hear anything like that, and then it kind of something kind of just whether it was astrology or whatever, just like, hello, there's things in front of me where you really can't ignore it. If you're seeing shadows when you're driving, you really can't ignore that.
No.
Yeah.
Or you see people standing on the front porch looking in the door.
Well, I was in school, and there was a ghost in my room, and I didn't know who it was. All I knew his name was Johnny, and then I had a couple of my friends over, and I said, well, we have this ghost named Johnny in the room, and then my friend dropped her glass, and she said, my friend Johnny just committed suicide this weekend. And after that, I basically told her about the spirit, then he left. It was actually her friend who was kind of using me to kind of tell her what happened. But those are a lot of spirits that I get, actually, a lot of suicides, murders, kind of people lost, so that's why that's not a part of me that I'm really excited to do, because it's always kind of sad.
But it's sort of like, hey, Monroe, just pass on my message, and then they say thank you and leave.
I'm like the Sixth Sense.
I wish they would say thank you.
Well,
you're kind of like the Sixth Sense too, like the little boy from the Sixth Sense, huh?
Yeah, I see dead people. Haley Joe.
Yeah. When people say I see dead people, I think, so what? A lot of my friends do.
Yeah. What's the big deal? It's like, I talk to dead people all the time, don't you? Yeah.
You don't? It's a great pickup line, let me tell you.
I don't want to know about that. I'm married now.
Yeah, well, I imagine all these paranormal reality shows have probably made that. Yeah, that would be a good pickup line.
I'm not going there.
I see dead people. Okay, dinner's over.
Well, that's one way to end a really bad day.
No. It's a nice way. Like, oh, you had such a beautiful angel sitting on your shoulder. Really?
Your earlier question, I do find a kind of a weird division between readers and people who are in traditional ATRs, they use traditional divination systems, and when you're a reader who's both in the religion and you use tarot, for example, or runes or anything that's kind of outside the tradition, they kind of look at you weird, like, why are you using that? Why are you not using other, Pawn or Ovi or Ifa or something? It's just kind of, they're like, okay. And then on the other hand, you have other readers who've never heard of these ATRs, and they're like, oh, so you do, I had this happen at a show, so they're like, oh, so you do voodoo?
Yeah.
and in front of the whole crowd, I said, yes, and?
Your point?
Well, one thing with the ATRs is that when you do a reading, depending what it is, it could be a long process. So, you don't want to do De Lagoons because that's an hour and a half, and you can't, tarot cards is like, to me, is a quickie, do a general. So I have, an Obi is too limited. Yes, no, maybe. So you're
and there's not so much cleansing afterwards when you do tarot.
There's not so much what?
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, with doing tarot or just doing a spiritualist type of reading, it's pretty down and dirty. You can just flip it out there and there it is.
And also, with the other ones, they know that now you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to come back, bring XXX and so much, and So.
You bring a chicken.
Hey, I was trying to be PC here, okay?
Oh no, I've had that said to me. They're like, you're gonna clean with a chicken now? I'm like, no, a rooster.
A black rooster.
Are you able to find all your supplies that you need up there in where you're at?
I've only been here for about a month and a half, and so I don't really know all the places. I haven't found a Botanica yet, and it's frustrating. Definitely not like Miami.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. So that's where you've lived a little bit before?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have the same problem here in Indiana. Most of the stuff I can find, Miss Paula talked about, there's only one item that Huh?
There's farms.
Oh, I know, but there's only one item that I have a hard time always finding. Pigeons. It's my hardest thing to find. Because nobody really raises them. But I found a network of people who raise racing pigeons, so I have to communicate with them.
Oh, there's
everything else.
Pros here.
There's plenty of pigeons there, but I wouldn't just grab any off the street.
Well, Monroe and Third Wolf, I want to thank you for taking time to be with us this evening and talking with us. And
know what? Nobody else called in?
Well, nobody wanted to raise their hand. That's we've had lots of people on the switchboard, but nobody raised their hand. But I've really enjoyed the conversation that we've been having. And
Candello? Wow. We should have went Candello.
But I find it interesting how different people bring together all these different aspects, the tarot and the Reiki and the Ifa and Lukumi and Palo, and bring them all together into a workable way of doing things. And but I want to thank you all for taking time to stop in and spend the show with us, and we have to do this again and have you back again so that other people can find out what great readers you are.
Owen wants a reading.
Mr. Ballard?
But give Candello a reading. Well, if we had Candello on the phone, we would probably badger him into it. But he's.
Well, what about Mr. Ballard? Isn't he? Is this Mr. Ballard the same one who's a Reiki master?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Tata Owen.
Oh, okay.
Who just did 2 shows with Candelo about the Afro-Brazilian traditions.
Yes,
And,
good shows.
Yes, we got good response from that too. And I look forward to Candelo having him back and talking about some of the other systems that he is involved with, because a lot of knowledge right there. A lot of knowledge. And Oro was supposed
to... only an hour and a half? Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, is this
no.
only an hour and a half show?
Yeah. Oh, and before we are in the last half hour, and I want to remind everybody that, yes, Candelo's Corner on at 8 p.m. tomorrow, Monday, as always, and he's going to have some news on some upcoming guests on the show, so you want to be sure and tune in for that. You can find us at our new web address at www.kdclmedia.com is the new address for us, and check out all the happenings there on the calendar and on the individual pages. Also, we're on Facebook, Twitter. Go to your favorite search engine, plug us in. You'll be sure to find us and any of our shows. Tuesday night, we're here with Oro Expeditions and then some. Wednesdays, Our Mountain Home. Thursday, After Dark. All at 8 p.m. And on Fridays, we're on at 10 a.m. for the Crone's Cauldron. So all kinds of good stuff out there that we're talking about. We cover the normal to the paranormal and everything in between. So I'm sure. So you ought to be able to find a show on KGCL Media that tickles your fancy. Monroe.
Candelo's on.
Beg pardon?
Candelo's on the phone, I guess.
Yeah, there he is. I see his number has popped up right there. And Salam alaikum, brother.
Malaikum salam. What's going on around here? I see y'all got it all in popping on Egun and then some. I want to say hello to each and everyone that's listening, of course. You know me. I like to say hi to everyone. I see Tata Owen Baller is in the chat room. I see Egun is on the chat room. And of course, 2 of my favorite readers are on the Third Wolf and Monroe. What's going on, gentlemen?
Waiting for somebody else to raise their hand. I guess it's going to be you.
Well, I guess, you know what? I'll be the guinea pig. Y'all go on ahead and just lay it on.
Birthday.
Birthday, 9/30/67.
Wow.
Oh, wow. That sounds bad.
Interesting.
Oh, we got an oh wow and an interesting. That's even better.
No, for some reason I keep thinking about his wifey, but I don't know. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Oh, she's fine.
A lot of major cards here.
You doing a 3 or how many cards you doing?
He does a
15.
Oh, okay.
You can go first.
Okay. I feel like I'm testing in front of the big dean of the school. Okay. I got 3 cards. I got 3 cards and they're all reversed. I got the Hangman, Strength, and the 9 of Pentacles. You are preoccupied.
I got the Hangman too.
I'm sorry?
I got the Hangman too.
Yeah, you're dealing with an internal battle, Candelo. You're not dealing with the insight of the problem. There's something being there, and you're being pressured by and it's overwhelming you. Do not rely on logical solutions. Your solution might be unorthodox, especially where you're at, and it might represent legal problems later on down the road.
Bingo.
You are tempted. There's an abuse of power and immoral inactions. You are not a person of weak character. You have a lot of courage, but don't let your flaws, blind you on what's going to happen. And that's what it says in the present. For your future, doesn't look good, but it just says there's going to be embezzlement or the management of funds. So be very cautious. I see something going down the road that's not good, and I think I something that me and you talked about, and I need to talk to you off the air later about that. I think I know what it is.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. I guess I'll go. So the first card for you was kind of funny because it's a Knight of Wands, which is a fire sign, Candelo. Interesting. Basically, the major cards that are going on externally for you are Death, Justice, and the Hangman. And like Third Wolf was talking about, there's significant change going on internally. There's going to be some legal issues, but in the future, I do see the juggling of funds. I need to kind of stick to your gut in terms of using your intuition, looking for what's the best possible avenue to go and to kind of stick with it. So the other cards are like the Wheel of Fortune, the Moon, meaning there's like some deception going on, obviously, and again the High Priestess, which just talks about intuition. So you have three cards talking about what's going on internally and to kind of listen to your own inner voice. I also did another deck. You're kind of living in your own world right now, and you have a need to set boundaries with people in order for you to be more happy. Setting clear boundaries with people from the start and sticking to them. I'm seeing like a problem with just you trusting people and they're kind of disappointing you, or they're kind of going over boundaries that you don't really speak about. So just being really clear-cut and honest with what you expect from people as soon as you meet them and sticking to that. Yeah.
Well. Well, I'm at a loss for words. You guys are pretty good.
Wow. We actually, excuse the expression, we actually shut up Candelo. My God, no time and day.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Now, is there anybody else on the line that wants to read?
No, it looks like you're going to be our last one of the evening.
Wow. Well, guys, I guess I'll get in contact with some of you dudes later.
Sounds like some big things going on.
Oh, yeah, Paula, there's always big things going on. You know me.
Yeah, well, yeah. In there stirring the pot.
As long as I don't lose my temper and bust somebody over the head, I'll be okay.
I would advise against doing that.
Exactly. That's the same thing the card says, do not lose your temper. You know.
Mm-hmm.
This one for the next, and that's your, for the next couple months, do not lose your temper. You need to be balanced.
Of course not. I'm very, 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 very aware of everything.
I think Tata Owen wants to do one.
Okay, let's see here. not on my switch.
Well, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to keep on listening to the show, but I'm going to let you guys go. Do your thing. Salam alaikum.
Malaikum assalam. Well, it's going to be an interesting few months in Candelo's life.
It's always interesting in his life.
Well, yeah, that too. But if we just go by the astrological signs, then yes, it's going to be very interesting. And salam alaikum, Tata Owen.
Malaikum salam, como cuenta? How are you doing?
Doing
Can you hear me?
good, doing good. Yes, sir, we can.
Good.
And Monroe, I believe, needs a birth date.
Yes.
Oh, I don't need it.
Oh,
I do.
never mind.
March 12th, 55.
Okay.
I'll go first. I won't talk about his personality at all. I'll just talk about what's going on in the future because I kind of know him.
Yeah, I figured I couldn't let Candelo take the whole fall. I would volunteer afterwards. It just didn't look good, you know.
Okay, that's weird.
That's right up there with oops.
What?
Having a reader say that's weird is.
Oh no.
Well, it's better than oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it this way. That little trouble we're talking about with Candelo, don't get involved.
Not a problem.
Because I was seeing it on the same cards, and I was like, oh, wow.
Getting some bleed over.
Yeah, I'm leaving the cliffhanger, sorry.
Well, say something.
Okay, so it's all sunny and bright right now. There's internally a need to move forward. Stop being complacent in terms of and worrying about finances. I shuffled a card and it came out, and then I shuffled again and I got the same card about the finances. There's a star, meaning that there's definitely brighter things for you. The star, the sun, the chariot, Nine of Wands, Queen of... your wife is kind of keeping you grounded through all this change that's going on, and it's going to be a good change. You have cards like Strength, Two of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Hangman. So basically you're going through a time where there's some juggling of finances and you're kind of worried about it, but it's not worry that's kind of in the cards. It's more of it's an opportunity for change. You're kind of taking a step back and figuring out what you want to do with your life and what's going to be your main income stream going to be. And a lot of it's coming from strength from not just from yourself, but from your wife, as well as I need to do partnerships with other people to get that income stream coming through.
Mm-hmm. All of that sounds more or less accurate.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. But
Third
things look really
Oh.
look good.
Okay. I ended up with a couple cards almost the same way. The Five of Wands, the Devil, and the Sun inverted. And they're kind of telling me you're going to have some money troubles right now in the present. You're having some issues with trying to. It might be easy, but it's not the get rich quick scheme, which surprised me because I know you're a very intellectual person, so I don't see you doing something that's quick rich. So I don't know where that's coming from. And you're having a frustration and a difficult time ahead, some little bit of bad luck or little hurdles that are just every time you try to step forward, it's like it's pushing you 2 steps back or something. And right now, something for your future, there's a lack of ambition, or there's a crisis in your confidence in your belief and abilities, which doesn't make sense because of what you study or what you know what I mean. So I don't that you might be at a little low point in your life or something that you're I guess,
a little what?
A low point in your life, like a midlife crisis or something. You're not.
Oh no, I'm past the midlife crisis. That happened close to 20 years ago.
You're having another one.
I'm approaching 60.
Okay, well,
but I'm working on making some changes, and there are decisions to be made.
Okay, so there's something there, and I don't want to say this, but possible loss of a job or a home, and I guess and for a loved one, and I'm sorry, but that's the way I read. I'm truthful with you, so that's what I'm getting.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and it's an honor to read you.
Yeah, and none of you guys have the lottery numbers? I mean, really,
I had last night.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Tata, for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's good. You guys are good.
Thank you.
Smart Aleck cleared out last night's.
Hey, he was trying to be smart Aleck to me, so I was
as good as he gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've learned. I'm from Jersey. He's from Philadelphia, so us East Coasters, we know it. You give it to us, we're going to get right back to you.
You bet. You bet. I don't expect any less.
Oh, see, he was testing me. Another person. How many tests am I going to have this week?
Wow.
All right. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye, Tata. Oh, okay, guys.
I was sweating on that one.
So, things got wild here in the last half hour.
No fighting with the client.
We weren't fighting.
And yeah, and a lot of times, when we have an insight like that, it gives you kind of the edge, but it's always good to hear. Mm-hmm.
But my cars almost showed up the same thing he was saying.
Yes.
I mean, that's why it was very. I like that we sometimes there's two people because, like he says, he has the insight, and also in my car, then I was a little skeptical of what I wanted to say because, I didn't like the cards come the way they came out, but I have to be truthful.
Right,
mm-hmm.
Right, and now I haven't laid down any cards tonight, but with Tatayo and I was feeling getting the feeling of kind of a storm cloud, a little gray cloud kind of hanging about, being a period of, like you said, readjustment decision. So I was getting that feeling going along with the cards that you guys were given. So, yeah. So
thank you, Ms. Paula, because we appreciate that because this is the only way I am able to validate what I'm doing, and that does help. Thank you.
Well, you guys were right on, and even though it's just been a week or so since Monroe did a reading for me, and like I said, a lot of things rang true, and a lot of the things that he said actually triggered me to make some changes or to realize that I had kind of fallen into a slump, that I needed to pull myself up out of. So, and like you said, that what you were saying was just an affirmation of what he'd already told me. So, yeah, that's why that we enjoy having two. And if anybody has something to throw in from the chat room or any place else, we always appreciate that too, because that validation really helps sink it home, and hopefully people perk up and pay a little bit more of attention when two people are telling them the same thing.
Especially when the cards are not, everybody wants to have a great reading, and who was it that was? I either heard or read something that on a blog or forum, these ladies were talking about, oh, so and such is a good reader. I had a great reading, and and they were just commenting how good of a reader is because of how good the reading was. But if the reader gave them a negative, that this is going to happen, this love is going to end, whatever, they were, oh, he gave me a bad reading, but it's not a bad reading; it's a truthful reading.
Yeah,
right.
People need to know that there's it's not a bad reading, it's just a truthful reading, and then that's what bothers me.
Well,
I've had readings, especially when I was in New Orleans, where there was one. It was a mother and daughter who came, and I did a in-person reading for them, and, she tried to act like everything was wonderful and great, partly because the daughter was there, and I could literally feel the sadness inside her, and the cards were saying the exact same thing, and she kept smiling, saying everything's wonderful, and I'm like, your husband's cheating on you, and all this other stuff is going on. And she didn't want to believe it, and I was like, okay. And she never saw me again, but it was something I didn't really want to tell her, but it had to be said for her to change what was going on inside her. So even though I don't have she wasn't a repeat client, I still was kind of confident that I was able to tell her what she needs to know in the best way so she can make a significant change in her life.
Right, and it's like Tata Owen said in the chat room, a good reading's not always sweetness and light, and that's because life isn't always sweetness and light. We don't all spend all of our time tiptoeing through the tulips. We have our ups and downs, and to me, a good reading is a truthful reading. It's not somebody blowing sunshine up my skirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I know there's people out there that the people who are having good lives are not the people who are out there having readings. There are people that go from reader to reader expecting somebody to tell them that, even if their life is in the crapper. But especially people that. Go ahead.
You don't go see the doctor when you're healthy.
Right. But and to say, oh, well, I want a reading about my love life because I think my boyfriend's cheating on me, but I really love him and I really want to have him back. And it's like, well, why would you want somebody back that treats you like crap?
Money.
But yeah.
Yeah. To kind of remark on what Tata Owen said in the chat room, I was reading with some other readers, and I kept staring at this client that was at my friend's table, and I just kept getting this really weird ominous feeling. And so as time, I kind of ignored it. Time went on. I was talking to someone else. I just kind of felt that this woman had cancer, and I couldn't get. It was like spirit kept making me want to tell her, even though she was getting a reading. So when she left her reading, she was really happy. I talked to the reader, and she didn't pick up on it at all. And so I kind of asked her permission to tell the client. So when I went to the client, I had to tell her that, and it was pretty much the worst day I ever had being a reader, because I had to kind of basically destroy this woman's day, saying that she had to go to the doctor and get a biopsy. But if I hadn't told her that day, she would have never known, and she probably would have been in worse shape.
Right. Well, we don't all, and it's like when Dee and I do readings. It's if you're going to call in here looking for a reading, don't have your expectations up what you're going to hear, because spirit will blow up your spot. and they do. I mean, we have had people call in, thinking that they're going to, fake out the reader, and spirit will step in and say, "Oh no, this is how it is." And people, I guess people don't think it's for real, and that's why they do the, test the reader or whatever, little BS game they're playing. But and when when they get blown out of the water, then it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, this is what I see, and it's and it turns out to be right.
I tell people all the time, this is not the psychic hotline. If you want that type of reading, go to someone else. I'm very candid about it. I try to do non-BS reading for people.
Right. Well, yeah, to me, and I understand when you're doing a call, calling in, and it's not costing you anything. But when you're going to somebody and you're going to give them your hard-earned 50 or 60 or however much you're going to give them to do a reading, then I want the truth. If I'm paying somebody for a service, I want a good service.
Absolutely. But it's difficult, even when I start doing the lagoons. I mean, I've had when if all of a sudden comes up, immediately I'm supposed to tell the person, because some of the stuff that I come out involve the body. Getting a biopsy, you have something dying inside of you. I'm already at that stage where I'm starting to read those things, and I'm studying it, but it's hard. It's heartbreaking when you know it when they're sitting in front of you. I'm not there yet where I'm going to do somebody, and it's like, it's something I have to be mentally prepared for and explain to them.
Right.
Because, one of the things that, we've discussed that in class, and it's going to be difficult, but you have to be honest.
Well, and you also have to remember that while you can sympathize with the person, you don't want to empathize with them. You can't get sick with them. I mean, you can feel bad that they're sick, but you can't get sick with them. You have to be able to draw that line between your personal feeling and doing the reading.
Monroe, question: when you do a reading, do you have difficulty when, like you said, you did the mother and daughter? Was the daughter like over 18, 21, or something like that? Or Yeah. Because I just have sometimes, when I've done, I don't like doing two people together, but at the same time I understand why, because you want a friend to remember some of the stuff that the reader says. What's your thoughts on that?
If it's just a friend who's tagging along, usually I tell them to leave. I've done a lot of couples, and even if they're supposed to sit or standing in front of me, I do them one at a time. And even if they as soon as they sit down, I pick up something, I might tell the other one to leave.
Right.
Basically, a case-by-case basis on what I feel.
Because that's where I've had the problem, where all of a sudden somebody's spirit, like the other person, is trying to get over here. Hey, I need to tell you something. And I have to. Can you please step back, because your spirit is trying. One of your spirits is trying to interfere with this one, and I'm not hearing this. So the spirit that is the person in front of me.
Okay, guys. I've got another person here with their hand up, so we're going to extend long enough to talk to this person, and we have area code 717. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes. Salam alaikum, Miss Paula and everyone. I would love some sunshine up my I love that one. I'm going to run with it this week. This is Veronica, and so my quick question for you: with supermoon going on, what suggestions do you have in terms of working for prosperity and what have you?
Well, for one
Watch
thing,
your money.
One thing with the supermoon, you want to be getting your waters and your stones and all the things that you work with, you want to be getting them out there so they can get a good cleansing, and you want to be making you some of that supermoon water for your workings. But with it in Capricorn, and with the sun being in Cancer, they kind of rub each other the wrong way. So you want to be careful with everything, with your emotions and with, because Cancer's a little prickly and spiny, Capricorn's a little prickly and spiny, and of course, Cancer's, you can, easily hurt their feelings because we're so tender-hearted. But so they're kind of in opposition to each other. So you want to kind of be careful with that, and you want to word your workings or word whatever whatever it is that you're doing with the supermoon in a very positive, very earthy fashion. Kind of keep the emotion out of it because you are working with Capricorn.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Okay, guys.
Veronica, birthday.
6/17/77.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Decisions. Are you dating right now? Multiple guys?
No, I wish I could tell you yes. No, I haven't dated in a long time.
Oh, well, that's going to change very quickly because there's 78 cards in a tarot deck, and there's 2 cards that signify love and partnership, and you got both of them in the same spread, so.
Sunshine, yes.
A lot of what I'm seeing is dealing with a little bit with work, emotions, kind of keeping yourself open, and it might not be someone you're expecting. You can be a little judgmental sometimes, so keep refraining from judgment. I'm seeing you have a new kind of burst of emotion, finances, creativity, a need to express yourself more. The guy's probably going to be a fire sign. And yeah, there's when you talk about cups and emotion, there's kind of I think it's more in terms of work. There's opportunities out there, or there's something kind of out there for you, but you're kind of being slow to start it or slow to go for it. So that's the only thing that's negative that keeps me up. There's a lot of the motivation and the feelings area not really going for it like you should. You're kind of taking a step back, thinking about everything before you make a move, but you really need to kind of go for it.
Okay, that definitely resonates with me because I've been telling myself, oh my gosh, you're dragging your effing feet. And I told myself, you know what, starting tomorrow, I've got to take the bull by the...
No, you're starting today or starting right now. Because you say starting tomorrow, then tomorrow becomes tomorrow, and then tomorrow, and then tomorrow.
True.
So it's really talking about just keeping your mind open to new opportunities, both work, relationship-wise, and stop overjudging your decisions and just go for it. Just put yourself out there.
Nice. Very nice. By chance, do you see that individual coming, like relatively soon or several months from now?
Okay, when I talk about the future, it's usually the next 2 weeks to a month.
Okay.
I'm using I have cards already laid out, and I'm using another deck, and I'm getting some of the same things about the judgment, being stuck. I need to have faith. The moon card, change of fortune, and sorry, and the dragon.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So yeah, just pick it up and start moving along. And have faith, because you got the faith card in 2 different decks. So it's really a lot about, you need to have faith that that someone's out there for you, or there's opportunity out there for you. So the faith is really important with you.
Okay.
Manifest positively.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you ready, Veronica? You're going to love this. I did a 3-card spread, and then when you asked the second question about is this going to be soon, the 4th card that came out, and I know this is going to make you smile, is the sun. Okay, now.
I said in
now
the
let's
next month. Wow.
Okay, now, listen very closely, because the other cards are not as good, but, the thing is, what I got is 2 different men are coming into your life, one under 40 and one under 50. The one under 40 is right now present, or, around you right now, and he's a workaholic, and he's financially secure, but he has no sense of humor, and he doesn't believe in wasting time. And he's very hard on himself. He's well-educated and optimistic. Oh, I'm not optimistic, opinionated, but he's a pessimist, but he's opinionated. Sorry. Now, the other one, who's under 50, is very cool, unemotional. He's worldly. He's finely dressed, and nothing surprises him. But he does not appear. He might deceive you, and is not as he appears. Do not trust this man with your heart. He will break it. So you have 2 men that are coming into your life, one under 40, one under 50. But like I said, then you asked the other question, it was, about, and then all of a sudden, the sun came out, success, good health, confidence in love and career. So, and I already know what you're planning on for this in the coming year. So I don't know if that incorporates, but I wouldn't depend on, if you need to do what you need to do, don't depend on a man to do what you want to do, what we talked about today.
Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, because right now I am going to be making a huge move from the East Coast to the West Coast. That's totally on my own. No man, no nothing. I have a few female friends from, different groups that are, helping me in terms of, I'll hook you up with a job here. There's these apartments are over here, and there are things of that nature. But there's no man that I'm, leaning on like a clutch. Oh God, no. And so I'm hopefully with this change, I plan on moving out there about the first week of August.
Well, so maybe the man under 40 is the one that helps to move out there. I'm just saying, but the one that's under 50, the one thing is he will break your heart. So maybe they both help you. Maybe one of them, the one that's under 50 is the one out there. Maybe 1 year, one.
The first card I got was 2 of Swords, about making decisions, and when I was asking about were you dating multiple people, sometimes when you're, how do I put this? There's always, when you're hoping for something, sometimes there's a decoy, and someone that just kind of helps you along the way, and then there's the person that you're actually supposed to be with. So you have to be mindful of who's the decoy and who's the real person.
Right.
Okay. Yep.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Thank you so much. Bendiciones.
Oh, well, Santos, and thank you for calling in.
That was a good reading.
Yes, it was. And so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. She was our last reading. And thank you, gentlemen, very much for coming on the show and doing such a great job with us this evening.
Thank you.
We look forward to having you back in the future. And I want to remind everybody to join us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Candelo's Corner. And like I said, Candelo's got some great news to talk about, and among other things, so you want to be sure and tune in for that. And I want to thank everybody who joined us tonight in the chat room, on the phone lines, and who will take the time to listen to this in the archives. We appreciate your support each and every day. And so until tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I will bid you all good night. And Miss Rosalie will take us out of here as usual. Good night, everybody.
Campfire on the mountain top, burned till the sun came up. No place I'd ever rather be. Slept below a bed of stars, no sign of trucks or cars, just you and I over the sea. When the tide came in, you had to find high ground to save me. That seems to be just what you do. I can only hope with all my heart that maybe, baby, if you're gonna move along, you're always gonna wanna take me too. Ooh, don't matter if we're rich or poor, you know we've both been there before. And I'd follow you around the world till the end of time. Well, busted TV and a broken chair, holding hands down the avenue, watching all the silly things that people do. We stroll along without a care. When the rain came down, you threw your coat on the ground to save me. Oh, that seems to be just what you do. I can only hope with all my heart that maybe, baby, if you're gonna move along, you're always gonna wanna take me too. Ooh.